Alright, welcome. I believe we're live. Welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. So, I thought I'd do it just a little bit different tonight. Since we're going to be going into psychic abilities and talking about the clairs, I thought I'd bring the energy down just a little bit and do a little candlelight. I do have a little light on my camera in the front here, so my face isn't so dark. So, just want to say hi to everybody who we got here. Oh, where'd it go? Alright, give me 1 second, guys. I forgot to plug in the internet connection. That should hopefully make things much better. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. So we got Scott Murphy. Hi Scott. Hi Bravery. Hi Tom. And it's just you guys? Well, it says we've got 6, so hi anybody else who's not talking. Hello. Hi Jan. I'm so glad you're here. I finally got the right string for your necklace. I've tried a couple different types and they just didn't work for me. So today, hopefully. And I even started working on your crown as well. And I can send you a sneak peek picture if you'd like. Marty! So, Patreon shout out to Marty. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Let me know how the signal is, you guys, if it's any better since I plugged it in. Usually that makes it a lot better. So, see and hear me good? Good. Awesome. Thank you. Perfect. So, how is everybody feeling? We've been having a lot of crazy energy. So, I guess let's talk about that for a second while we're waiting for a couple more people to join. So, over the past week or so, the sun has been flaring around C-class flares. We did have one on the 5th that was a high C-class, almost M-class flare. So we haven't had an M-class flare since the beginning of the year. And that M-class flare was actually what made the final call from coming out of 24 into solar cycle 25. So solar cycle 24 hit a minimum in December 2019. That's when the sun was like down to like 68 SFU. I think it might have even gotten down to 67. I might have seen it get down that low. It got down pretty low. And then I noticed it was getting a little bit higher. And it's up in the mid 70s now, which is just definite sign that the sun is waking up. So it's been flaring a lot more. This past week has definitely, sorry, I gotta pick up my cat, she wants attention. It's definitely been very active. So we've had quite a bit of C-class flaring. So you might have been feeling this in the energy, and then that high C-class flare from the 5th was really intense, knocked me out. I was super tired. I was just like, wow, I can really feel this energy. I did notice, because I did channel that day, that the channeling that I did was super, super powerful. So that was an upside of the solar flare energy. It definitely amplified the healing that I was bringing through. So there's definitely upsides and downsides to these flares. They will wear you out, but they can also amplify and boost any kind of healing work or manifestation work that you're doing, ritual work that you're doing. So, let me get rid of that, sorry. let me know if any of you guys had any weird symptoms on the 5th that you want to talk about. Yes, would love a sneak peek picture. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So, it doesn't look like anybody's talking, either that or that. So I guess I'll just go kind of right into what I wanted to talk about tonight. And then some of the activations that are, so we only have 7, so I don't really want to start with the meditation until we get a few more people. So we're just going to talk a little bit about the different clair abilities and what it's like to have kind of a psychic awakening. Because this happens differently for everybody. Because here's the thing, we all have innate psychic abilities. As humans, we're born with them. Most of us are programmed. I'm sorry, let me get my cat some more food so she stops biting at me. Just 1 second. Where is your food? Use the cord, it's alright. Sorry. I apologize for all the interruptions, guys. That's the thing about live streams for me. I can never seem to get through one without being interrupted a million times. Okay. Cleaning and listening, very, very beautiful. How are you feeling, Tom? How are your ascension symptoms doing today? I know you're very sensitive to energy, so these solar flares are probably hitting you pretty hard. I just started getting a lot of energy, so it's taking me a second to ground it, so I can get back to what I was talking about. So, we are all born with innate psychic abilities. Some of our abilities are more prominent than others, and some of us have more prominent abilities that come forward in the beginning and then kind of take a step back so that other abilities can come forward. So for me, when I first had my awakening, one of the abilities that came forward first was my clairvoyance. So clairvoyance is like the ability that everybody wants to have because it's the one that everybody kind of like links with psychics. That whenever people think of a psychic, they usually think of somebody who's like a seer or a clairvoyant. But here's the thing, there's all different types of psychics, and some people who are very powerful psychics don't use clairvoyance at all and actually can bring through really powerful information because they don't use their clairvoyance. They use like a claircognizance or a clairsentience to gain information, which is very, very powerful because you don't have that perception where the ego can kind of get in and play a role and kind of distort things. So when you're pulling things in on a very emotional level, you're feeling into the information. So this is called clairsentience. So when you're getting like, let me use an example. This might help. So say you're a clairsentient and you're working with another person, or you're just sitting in the room with the other person and they're talking about something inside their body that hurts, and you start feeling the pain that they're talking about inside their body, inside your own body. That is a form of clairsentience. This is clair feeling. You can also be connecting with somebody from the other side, maybe a crossover loved one who maybe had some kind of an injury or something like that, and you're having some kind of a communication with this passed over loved one. They're giving you information through feeling different things inside your body that would essentially give information. So say you're having some kind of communication, then you feel this sharp pain in your heart, and you get this feeling like being stabbed into the heart, and it could be that loved one saying, I got stabbed into the heart, or it could be a metaphorical thing, my heart was broken, and they're essentially looking to you to help clear that energy so they can cross over. A lot of spirits from the other side will communicate with like mediums or people who have awakened to their psychic abilities for assistance. Greetings, Logos Hunter. New name, welcome. Thank you for being here. Hi, Tila, welcome. Let me look over the chat so I don't get too far behind. Well, you should think about where you walk before you fall over. I must have missed something. I have been experiencing some crazy things lately. I have seen a very clear and crisp image in my third eye. Also, my claircognizance has been amplified. So I'm actually really glad you mentioned that. So, oh, there's more. I believe this craziness is coming from a huge slab of rainbow fluorite that I recently purchased. Welcome, Conscious Evolution. Thank you for being here. So that's actually very possible because rainbow fluorite works with all your earth chakras, all 7 primary earth chakras, and really helps balance and cleanse and work to remove any blocks and really open up and amplify and expand that energy. It also will cleanse and clear other crystals that it's sitting around. So it's a very good crystal to have in your collection for sure. So one of the things Jan was talking about was how she has seen a clear and crisp image in her third eye. So some people, when they have clairvoyance, do not see clear and crisp images. They'll see more like waves of color, sometimes just the outline almost in smoke of an image. These are all forms that I've seen with my own clairvoyance. Sometimes it will look similar to like if you were looking at a radar screen or an ultrasound type screen where everything's kind of like going in a pulsating almost way where you're seeing it in flashes, where you'll get a flash and then you'll see almost like an X-ray or sonar echolocation type image of something, and then it'll go black and then it'll come back in and then it'll go black and then it'll come back in. This is also another form of seeing, of using your clairvoyance. Sometimes a lot of people, they start off only seeing colors. This is very, very common. This is one of the first things a lot of people see when they start to open that third eye and start using the clairvoyance. So when you close your eyes, typically, most of the time, people who haven't done a lot of third eye work will just see black, nothing but black. So if you really kind of just get really comfortable with that blackness and start allowing your imagination to bring forward a favorite color and just really focus on maybe seeing, like, if your favorite color is red or blue, just look into that blackness and maybe even light a candle or have a small light that can help bring a little bit of light into the eyelids as they're closed. So have your eyelids closed and maybe have a candle nearby. And that little bit of flickering light behind your eyelids, you can use that to kind of create something behind your eyes. So say you're laying there with your eyes closed, you can see a little bit of the light from the candle, focus on a color, and really try to bring that color forward as your eyes are closed using the light from the candle as it's kind of reflecting through your eyelids. And this is a very powerful way to start using your third eye and getting comfortable with seeing more than just black behind your eyes. Internet is still a major fail. Have a great night from us both. Well, it's always beautiful having you guys stop by, Bert and Aisha. Thank you. And it's such a bummer about your internet. I hope that it starts working better for you soon. I really do. I know that you have a lot of powerful work that you want to give to the collective, and that just seems to be a big issue. So I really hope that things work out better. As I was meditating today, I was actually practicing opening and closing my third eye. I could actually feel it opening and closing. Very powerful, Jansu, and yes, you can do that. And one of the things that happens with mine is it will like physically blink at me sometimes, like when I'm doing like jumping jacks or any kind of anything that like really shoots the energy up, like from my root up to my crown. So jumping jacks really does it, anything like that. Sometimes when I'm doing certain yoga positions, it'll just like, I'll see it just like another eye looking at me, and it'll just like kind of blink at me. It freaked me out when I first started seeing. I was like, why is there an eye blinking back at me? What is going on? And then I just realized it was just me. It was just my third eye. So one of the things about that eye that blinks back at you that I learned is you can really kind of focus in on it and just like kind of use it as almost like a screen. So if you really kind of zoom in on it and bring it into your focused awareness, it will get bigger, 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 and then you have this nice round screen where it can usually turn into like some kind of a portal, or sometimes a symbol will come forward. Sometimes I'll see like an imagery of either like some kind of a being or something like that will come through. And that's just one of the things that has happened with me personally, with my experiences with my clairvoyance. I swear when I went under for surgery, I was with my passed on loved one, my BF, and when I came to, I got chills. Wow. That's incredible experience. You just had a beautiful, very real experience with a passed over loved one. When you're under like an anesthetic procedure, a lot of times people will have out-of-body experiences because you are so released from that attachment to your body that you can actually allow your soul to leave that attachment to the body and connect with loved ones. Sometimes like see yourself on the table. Sometimes people will leave the hospital or the room that they're in and go to another dimension. These are all things that have happened to people when they've been in surgery under anesthesia, gone into like comatose situations. Beth, you're here! I'm so glad. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. So, yes, that is so beautiful to hear about seeing the eye, because I didn't understand that either. So you see it as well. And that's why I felt it was important to mention. I know I'm not the only one that experiences these things. I think a lot of people experience things in their third eye, with their third eye, and have convinced themselves that their third eye is not open when it actually is. And really just them thinking that it's not open is the one thing that's blocking them from opening it all the way and really tapping into those abilities and expanding on them. So if this is you, that's probably one of the bigger blocks that you have to work with. I do grid work, and I have fleets of spirits come to me since I was young. It was difficult to understand that I'm a gatekeeper, and the spirits I assume of thought were negative or pushy. Well, that can always be very frustrating. But they were your best teachers on your path. Perfect. I don't even need to go into what I was going to say, because it looks like you already figured that out. That's beautiful. I love that you said that, and that you already came to that realization. A lot of the things that I dealt with in the beginning when I started seeing things were like, I would see like ETs and stuff, and they would kind of freak me out. And at first I thought they were kind of negative, but really I think they were just more curious. Because when you kind of first start going into the astral, unaware and really underdeveloped with your psychic abilities, it's kind of like a bright light going into a dark room, and it kind of can attract moths, you know? So sometimes the lower forms. And what that did was actually teach me how to very powerfully use psychic protection, and to the point where like I have no fear. I've seen all kinds of things now with my third eye, like things that would like freak people out and think that they need to check themselves into a mental institution, and it doesn't scare me anymore because of some of the scarier things I experienced in the beginning. Really taught me a lot. And very much so, they in the beginning did kind of shut me down because I was freaked out. But then after I was able to get over that fear and that perception of fear, I was able to understand and work with my own energy and actually expand and grow my own protection, my own power, and feel safe all the time. Whereas before I would like go into an astral projection, and then I would get scared that something was going to try to attach itself to me. And I don't have that fear anymore. That doesn't exist in my reality anymore. But it was something that I dealt with in the beginning. And many people that come to me that have their awakening experiences have this in the beginning. So this is very normal. This is part of essentially your training to learn to be sovereign and stand up for yourself against multi-dimensionals, not just like all aspects of yourself, because everything is you know. And then also not. It's a paradox. We are all one, but also individuals, and we also have multi-dimensional aspects of also individuals. I hope that makes sense. I'll send you a picture of my rainbow fluorite slab. Perfect. Nova Nova! Hey girl! Welcome, welcome! Oh, did we lose the feed? Did we lose the feed? Let me know when we come back. I think we're back now. Okay. Dropped out for a second there, but it looks like we're back. It's just our mundane human conception of duality. I work with ETs as well. I faced all my fears as well. I'm really glad you joined us tonight, Logos Hunter. I hope you will join us again. We do this every Friday. When I saw the very clear, crisp picture in my third eye, it was the image of a loved one. I just knew that something was happening with them at that very moment. That's really beautiful. So, you have very powerful clairvoyant abilities. And I think you said clairsentience before, because it sounds like you're feeling things as well as you're getting these visions, which is really powerful because that gives you an opportunity to pull more information from your feeling, also with your sight. And if you can use multiple abilities at once by seeing, by feeling, and then also trusting your knowing, your intuition, these are like thoughts and words that are coming into your mind. This is claircognizance. Using these all together will really, really give you a really well-rounded reading if you're working with somebody on yourself, channeling information through your higher self or from source or from your guides. Alexandria Armstrong, welcome, Duracell. You found out later that something extremely serious was going on with them at that moment. Well, hopefully things are working out for the better. I don't want you to have to say anything personal if you don't want to, but the energy is intense. I can feel it. I definitely will. I'm glad and blessed to be here. We're glad to have you. So, I'm just going to list off the primary 6 clairs. We have all kinds of different psychic abilities, but today we're just talking about the clairs. So we have clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairgustance, clairalience, clairsentience, and claircognizance. So we'll go through those each one at a time. Clairvoyance is clairsight. So clear seeing things inside your mind with your third eye. So like images and projections, usually on the back of your eyelids or inside your mind. That is clairvoyance. And then we have clairgustance, which is psychic taste. So this can be tasting a dish from a loved one that you remember if they're near. Like say you had a grandma who made this wonderful spaghetti, and whenever you would go see her, she made this spaghetti. And say you're sitting there in a room and then you taste this spaghetti in your mouth and you're like, oh, you think of grandma. That's one of the ways that she's communicating with you from the other side through clairgustance. So that is psychic taste. And then we have psychic smell, which is called clairalience. So say you had a loved uncle that smoked a lot of cigarettes, and then you're sitting in your house, you get this waft of cigarettes, you're like, where is that coming from? And then you remember your uncle. This is one of the ways that he would be communicating with you, letting you know that he's near, and maybe just like checking up on you would be through that psychic smell. So then we have claircognizance. Claircognizance is psychic knowing. So say you just like have information. You don't know where it came from, but it's correct and you know it is, and there's really nothing you can say to tell anybody where you got it. They're like, where'd you get your information? What's your sources? You're like, I don't have any. It was just there. So this happens to me sometimes. When I wake up in the morning, I'll just like know something about something that I didn't know about, and it's literally like reading an article of information about something and then just remembering what you read in that article, except for that article doesn't exist and you never read it. It's just that information is there. That's kind of what it's like to have claircognizance. So a very strong knowing of information that you shouldn't technically know. And then, so we did clairvoyance. Oh, so clairaudience. So this is clear hearing. So this is one that freaks people out the most. Believe it or not, with everybody I've worked with, people who are clairaudient seem to get freaked out the most because they're hearing spirits, like in their head, voices. A lot of times they say it sounds like similar to like if you're hearing like an old radio and it kind of goes in and out, and it's like they can hear the static, but it's like the voices try to come in and out and in and out. That's how it is with some people. And then for other people, they just hear tones. Like for me, I don't hear voices with my clairaudience, but I do get tones. And like when I'm doing healings on people, I'll start getting different frequencies in my ears, and they'll hit different notes. Like sometimes the frequencies will get kind of low, and I can really feel it starting to hit like lower parts of my body, and I'll be like lower frequencies working with denser energy, and then I'll hear the frequencies getting really high, and I can feel it up in my head. So this is a form of clairaudience that doesn't have actual voices coming through. This is still a psychic ability. So clairaudience form in a couple different forms, where you're just hearing tones, sounds, frequencies like I do, or where like some other people are hearing voices, like straight up people talking to them, like different voices, sometimes different languages inside their head, inside their ears. They're like, I'm schizophrenic, I'm crazy. So much misconception about that. Really, a lot of mental illness is just super misunderstood. If I went to like a psychotherapist right now, they would probably diagnose me with DID, bipolarism, autism, like a million different things, and I'm totally not any of that stuff. I'm hypersensitive, and because of that, I display different abilities. And this can be misunderstood as mental health problems. And when not balanced and understood, it becomes mental health problems. It literally does. And those mental health problems become physical health problems. It's really just, it's not good. So it's really, we all as a human collective need to start understanding that every single one of us has innate psychic abilities. And when we suppress those psychic abilities, we make ourselves sick. We literally do. And so it's really important that we all just start learning and understanding that we are all born with these abilities. It is part of being human. It is part of why we're here. And so if anybody watching this video is just starting to tap into their abilities and they're freaking them out, please contact me. You can book a session with me where we just talk one-on-one, or I can put you in a hypnosis and we can work on any blocks, anything like that. Or you can just text me through Instagram if you just need somebody, you have a question, you don't have anybody to talk to. So definitely do that. Let me catch up on the chat real quick before I get on mad tangents and I'll get so far behind. I found out later that something extreme. Oh, I read that already. Yes, I have learned to trust my claircognizance, but my clairvoyance is fairly new. Well, that's pretty normal too. Like I kind of started saying in the beginning, typically we'll have one clair that comes out and is very dominant in the beginning, and then that clair will go ahead and take a step back, and other clairs will start coming out, and you'll almost feel like that clair that was really dominant in the beginning is blocked. It's not. It's just taking a step back so your other abilities have a chance to come more forward. this is actually a very good thing. So never ever like lose faith in yourself because one of your abilities is fading. That just means one of your other abilities is coming forward. And you really need to just pay attention to your body and different things that are coming forward for you to kind of work on and amplify and expand on. Claire bitch science. I know what you were trying to say, Tom. I actually had a whole conversation with Adam about 3 days before the actual conversation. Then I'll freak him out by telling him exactly what he is going to say next. That's so interesting. It's that telepathy. It's really kind of scary, but yeah, it's kind of cool. It's okay. It is kind of weird in the beginning to have somebody who can like listen to your thoughts and know what you're saying, but after a while it's kind of comforting to have somebody else that like just can like tune into your energy and thoughts and know what you're feeling without always having to say it. Katie, welcome. Thank you for being here. I know it's kind of late for you. Yeah, I thought I was going crazy and went and got a brain scan. It's difficult when you have no one to talk to about this. I truly empathize and feel it's a very important subject. Thank you. Indeed, indeed. And I think a lot of us, like I literally thought I had like a tumor in my brain or something like that. I was like, why is this happening to me? You know, because I would have like seizures. And I think a lot of it was actually psychic experiences that are always confusing with seizures. Maybe some of it was seizures. I don't fully know. There's really no explanation for why I get them. Except for that I always feel better after one. Like a billion times better. That's also one of the things that I've noticed with a lot of people who have suppressed psychic abilities is they have health problems like seizures or dissociated identity disorder or bipolarism or some kind of mental health condition that they've told that they're like crazy and they have all these problems and they need to take all this medication. But I think a lot of that is they really just need to start tapping into their innate abilities and really start using them and healing their own bodies with them and allowing those abilities to come forward, because suppressing them is really what's making us sick. It's suppressing our abilities. When you suppress things and hold them inside your body, that's not healthy for you. It creates pain. It creates, spots inside your body that are not functioning, imbalance, chaos, knots, It's not good. All right, so did I miss one? I feel like I missed one. Claire, I did. I missed clairsentience. So clairsentience is did I do clairsentience? I might have explained clairsentience. This is the one where you have a feeling, where you can literally feel other people's pain like inside your body. So this is actually an ability I use a lot when I'm healing people, either one-on-one or in a group. It's a lot easier when I'm one-on-one or in a small group, because then it can really kind of define who it is that I'm picking up the pain from. But I'll feel the pain that's in your body, like wherever it is inside your body, I'll feel it in that same spot inside my body. And I'll be able to kind of tune into that pain and get information sometimes from it. Sometimes I can get information from where, because sometimes the pain will reside in different parts of our body, but its actually core file is in a completely different chakra than where it's expressing itself. So there's actually a connection between multiple chakras. It's expressing through one, but its core file is actually in another. So I can find that pain and essentially follow its stream of energy to its core file and find where the root cause of the pain is from, to start working it out of your system. And for me, I found a lot of root causes for my pain. A lot of my health problems are really connected to things. I guess, for example, Hashimoto's. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's back in 2014, and it's connected to your thyroid gland, which is also very connected to the higher heart. And for me, I was very, very dealing with a lot of being very guarded, not loving myself, not really wanting to receive love. And when I would give love, it was very, very pained and like almost forced. So there was a lot of issues with love. Anytime there was love that was given to me, it was always felt there was some kind of obligation or condition attached to it. And so I just developed a lot of pain surrounding love, and that affected the higher heart, the heart, and the throat chakra, because I couldn't talk or express or speak about the things that I was feeling or experiencing, connected to love, connected to how I love myself, how I receive love, how I give love, just how love interacted with me in general was very much affected. So because of that, my thyroid gland was having problems. I was having heart problems, so I was on blood pressure medication. I was on medication for my thyroid, and then I was also taking medication for my migraines. And so I was on all these different pills trying to make myself better. And ultimately, the one thing that made myself better was to stop taking all those pills and to start looking at the root causes of all the problems that were creating those external health problems within my reality, within my physical expression of my body. And as I started healing the core files that were connected to those health problems, I started healing myself and I started getting healthier. And my levels started balancing out. And it's like, I could go to the doctor now and get blood tests for my thyroid, and they'd probably be normal. I don't know that 100%, but they'd probably be pretty normal. They were last time they were checked, they were normal. So that's pretty significant to go from swinging back and forth between hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. Every time they checked my blood, I'd be either hypo or hyper. I could never pick a side, so they were struggling to medicate me. They didn't know what to give me because they were like, well, you know, you're hyper one day, you're hypo another, and it's just like, so I'm trying all these different things, and it's like, it wasn't working for me. Ultimately, the one thing that worked for me was opening and activating my psychic abilities, not suppressing them anymore, and healing myself through finding the core files that were stuck inside my body, expressing through me through mental illness and physical illness. And because of that healing, I've noticed I look younger. I mean, I'm still tired a lot, but not like I used to. Like, not even close. I mean, I don't feel like I'm, dying anymore like I used. Like, I was convinced I had maybe a year left to live before my awakening. Like, it was that bad. So, I mean, if there's anybody out there that is like struggling with these kind of problems, mental health, physical health problems, and you've had these suppressed psychic abilities that are starting to try and come forward, and you need somebody to talk to about them, please come to me, because that's why I'm here. And that's why I did this live stream, and that's why I'm talking about these things, because so many of us, like this, I wish that like somebody like me was around for me when I first had my awakening. I did get a lot of help watching Gigi Young videos. Like, those were probably like the things that kept me from feeling like I was crazy. So I guess you could say she was like my saving grace, Gigi Young, because if it wasn't for her videos, I probably would have thought I was crazy and probably would have had myself checked into a mental institution, like, no joke. John Binney, welcome. Scotland in the house. What up, Strawberry Time? I am this. We feel heart attacks even. It hurts, but there is a knowing who it is as well. Indeed. Your intuition will give you lots of information if you believe in yourself. I believe I was experiencing clairsentience today. I could feel my heart start racing, and I felt like I couldn't breathe 1 second, then it was gone. Heart pain. Then it completely disappeared. So perhaps you were picking up on somebody's anxiety that was nearby. That sounds kind of like a panic attack. Like I was having a panic attack or anxiety attack or not. Yeah, it's very possible you were tuning into somebody near you that was possibly having a panic attack or something like that. I don't know why, but it looks like you're crying to me. Oh, I was getting a little emotional. Whenever I talk about those experiences, it does make me a little emotional. It was a huge turning point in my life, to come to those awarenesses and to change my perspective about my health, because I was really sick for a while there, and it was affecting everyone around me. It was affecting my kids really bad. It was affecting my family. It was affecting all of my relationships. I went 2 years without even leaving my house, you know? It's like, it was bad. So it's like, I've gotten so much better. I still have trouble leaving my house, but it's not as bad as it used to be. I am so grateful that you are healed. Thank you for helping me and all of us heal as well. You're so welcome. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my healing too. I'm grateful to be healed. I am. It's an amazing feeling to know that you have the power to heal yourself and then to watch yourself do it. Like, there's nothing more beautiful than that. Like, I'm proud of myself. I'm just gonna say it. I'm proud of myself for how far I've come. From where I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, to now. Oh, thank you, Bravery. Thank you. Same heart activation going on with all of us. Indeed, Tom. Indeed. I'm really grateful that I got to have this conversation with you guys tonight. Do you have any questions for me about my experiences or about your experiences? Any questions about maybe abilities that you're not sure about that you could be having come forward? Lots of inner healing. Yes, Bravery, indeed. It is that time right now. Bella needs healing. Her eyes hurt. Oh, she's having eyes again. Okay, we're definitely gonna have to do some eye healing for sure. We love you, Fairy Goddess. Thank you, sis. My sister. I love it that you're here. That makes me so happy. Fairy, we are so blessed to have you in this universe. Oh, thank you, John Vinny. What were your very first symptoms? Mine were ringing in the ears. My very first symptoms was having a full-on vision. Seeing things. And then I started having the ringing in the ears, the itching in the ears, a lot of running in the nose, vibrating in the face, feeling vibrating in my hands and feet, and then starting to feel vibrating in my root, and then I started feeling vibrating in all different parts of my body. And then I would start to get this like projector light thing on my forehead that would like turn on, and it would be like a light coming out of my forehead. It was so crazy. And I would just see like colors and rainbows swirling around in front of me, and I'd be like, I could see the particles in the air, and I could hold my hands up in front of me and like see strands of DNA coming out of my hands, just in like strands of like green strands just coming out of my hands, and I'm just like looking at it like, whoa, this is so trippy. I can't believe I'm doing this right now. And I could take like the colors in the room, and I could like move them with my hands, and I'd take them and I'd like move them around, and I'd be like, all right, you're purple, now turn green. And I would get like, I'd have a lot of fun with it. I actually had a lot more fun with it in the beginning than I do now, because then I started getting really serious about it. I think after I started getting into more of the teacher aspect of things, I started getting very serious about it. But I still have fun with my abilities. But when I first started seeing like energy and things with my third eye, man, I was just like a little kid. I was like playing with the rainbows in the room. It was pretty amazing. So there was this other thing that would happen is I would sit there and I would see like little dots like little dots going in like spirals around me, almost like little wheels circling around me, and it was the craziest thing. I would think, man, I feel like this is just gonna like lift me off and take me into another dimension. It never actually did, but it would feel like that. Like it was that intense. It was pretty crazy. I am still working on my inner voice. Lots of work done already. And wow, I just felt like something really intense, like as I was reading that, like energetically. Like there's some release happening with that. LOL, so weird. I would be here on my trip to Tahoe. Glad I joined. Oh, you're on your trip to Tahoe. Nice. Well, be safe. It's snowing. My goodness, I forgot you were going to Tahoe. Whew, of course, on the day it snows. Oh yeah, my second symptoms were vibrations in my face and eyes. Thought I was suffering from tinnitus and exhaustion. Yes. Me too. It's like, am I not getting enough sleep? What's going on? The ringing, and the ringings would be like different tones, sometimes all at once, and it would sometimes sound like a fax machine in my head, like, you know, like the sounds that the fax machines would make when they're like dialing up, like that. Or like back in the day when we had like dial-up internet and you had to like call like this number and it would like go back and forth and be like making all those weird noises. I would get that a lot in my ears. I still get that a lot in my ears, but it was really intense in the beginning. I think I actually toned it down because it was so loud. And I think a lot of us will do that. Abilities will come forward and they'll overwhelm us, and so we will subconsciously start turning the volume down on those abilities, and the next thing we'll know, we'll be like, wait, am I blocked? No. We just got to turn in the volume back up on those abilities. Clairsentients are also continuously reminded that we are picking up the feelings of the collective as well. Very important that you know that. Clairsentients, indeed. There can be down days for no reason, and we need to bring ourselves up. Exactly. Like, if you are feeling a lot of down, dense energy, it's not coming from you. You don't know where it's coming from. It's probably something collective. It's really important in that time, in that moment, to focus on you. Really you, nobody else. This is you time. This is self-care time. Ritual baths, meditation, naps, nature walks, you know, whatever that is for you. That is self-care time. That is you time. When that collective energy starts hitting you, stay away from people, okay? And you need to know when it's not your energy, and just kind of hermit and do self-care time. Baths, salt baths, meditation, drink tea, burn incense, whatever helps you get there. Does your hair get stuck in your crown? I think, yes, it does. In fact, it gets stuck in my crown a lot. Indeed, I'm always pulling pieces of hair out of my crown after I take it off. You had ringing and itching in the ears and heat in the hands. Yes, that's another thing. You get heat in the hands and feet. A lot in the hands, especially like if you are kind of like a natural energy healer. We all are natural energy healers, but some have it more predominantly within their field, within this incarnation. So if you get a lot of burning and vibration in your hands, that's those chakras wanting to be used. So you can rub them together like this, really wake them up, and just put them on your body. And just breathe in that energy. And just let it heal you. And you'll feel it. You'll really feel it in all the different parts of your body. I always just put it over my heart and just let it go where it needs to go. Bravery, that's beautiful. Inner voice is so quiet, yet so powerful indeed. Faye, very proud of you for talking about all your problems through with us. It shows the most transparency. Thank you, Tom. I love that you're so open. It's amazing. Well, I try to be. And if you guys have questions, always feel free to ask. Indeed. Faery, a 90s download. Yes, John, once I got quiet within, I started to listen. And that's why meditation helps a lot of people, because it really, it shuts out all that chatter, the chatterbox mind, the one that tells you all the things that you need to do and all the things that you did wrong, and you know, all the things that nag you throughout the day. When you can do a meditation, for some people who just can't get that, saying like a repeated mantra over and over will really help with that, or doing like a breathwork exercise to really just focus on the breath. Give your mind something to focus on that's repetitive, okay? If you have a very, very busy mind, pick a word, a mantra, or a breathing exercise, something that's very repetitive, something that your mind can focus on completely and tune out everything else. And this is going to help you so much with like really kind of zeroing out and opening up that inner connection and that inner voice, and really tuning into that inner intuition. Same symptoms, Jen. How do you tell the difference between an actual bipolar psychotic break and an awakening? That's a very good question. If the person has no conscious awareness of spirituality, no connection to source, then they're not having a psychic awakening. Their mental health is out of balance, and they may need some assistance getting that in balance. Through understanding and awakening to their higher knowing and conscious, like through assistance from another, they can overcome this bipolarism. A lot of people aren't in that position and will need medication. And for those people, that's their option. And I will never ever judge somebody for that, ever. Because I was one of those people, you know. I wasn't in a place where I was consciously awake enough to handle my mental health problems. So I had to take different kinds of medications for my mental health and physical health problems. But once I had the awareness, then I no longer needed them, because they would only hurt, not help me. You understand? So it's like, for somebody who has no conscious awareness, is not woken, but having bipolar schizophrenic experiences, medication might actually help them until they can, you know, essentially have somebody to help them awaken to their higher consciousness and heal and tap into their innate psychic abilities. If we all were raised as children to know and understand our psychic abilities, we wouldn't have these problems. That's basically what I'm getting at. A lot of these problems are because we aren't taught as children that we're born with these abilities. So we spend our whole life suppressing them, and we get sick because of them. We end up with mental health diseases and physical health problems. And there's nobody there to help you get out of that. And so the only thing you have is the medication. And for those people, I will never judge them for that. And that is their option. And it might give them some relief. I really can't tell you if it will or not. So that's just where I kind of stand on that. I believe that once you have awakened your mind to a higher consciousness and understanding that you can heal your own body, I don't think you should be taking medication. But that's also just my perception. So that's also important to keep in mind. Yes, the collective are going through a roller coaster right now. It's okay to connect and observe, but even more important to disconnect. Yes. Disconnect from any energy that is not yours. Any energy that is not serving your highest good. Any energy that is like bringing you into a space that you don't need to be in. And just having the awareness to discern that energy and to help remove it from your body when it's there, because we all have the power to remove anything from our bodies that we don't want. Attachments, entities, energies, anything. You always, 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 always have control, 100% control of everything. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. Fax machine noises, or like an old computer loading. Like, you know, like when you're connecting to the internet, or like when somebody gets a fax machine call, it's like that almost discordant sounds of tones, like in your, oh, it's so weird. I don't know how to explain it. Remember the Matrix film, how they always used to ring the phone. Interesting. There's something to that, Tom. And I feel like I'm getting a download. I'm gonna have to like think on that a little bit. But there's some kind of weird connection that has to do with frequencies. Jen, that's a super hard question for me anyways. There is a mix. Faery, I hope, can help. Yes. Tom, yes, we connect to the operator. Hello, operator. I felt an energetic presence with me all the time when I started to channel it through writing before the telepathy kicked in fully. Trusting these abilities can be challenging when you can't see. Indeed, it can. But also, it gave you the opportunity to really bring those other abilities forward and show yourself that you have more than just sight to work with. And that way, you can really have well-rounded perception with all your information that comes through, which is very powerful. It's very powerful. You were on meds too, Bravery. Yes. We have a lot of similarities, my dear one. Wow, Faery, what an amazing answer. Mental health and spiritual awakening is so hard for me to separate. It really is. And it's always going to be hard for everybody to kind of, it's a hard pill to swallow. It really is. That's why I have to say this is from my perception, because it's always going to be from my perception, and everybody's going to see and feel and hear it differently. So the best I can do is just give you kind of an idea of what I think is best as I can. But if it doesn't resonate with you, then it doesn't. And if it does, then good. That means it helped somebody. You agree with that 100%? Yes. Beth has witnessed, as my sister firsthand, watched me completely fall apart, break down, and almost die, like literally in front of her, and then build myself back up. So she's like, she watched it, like with her own freaking eyes, watched it happen. She's proof. I mean, just look at my videos from even just when I first started. My whole face is different. Like, I just look different. It really, it's like, I look like I've actually, like, lost some years. I look like I've reversed my age a little bit. I looked kind of old and a little bit gray. Before I had this awakening 3 years ago, almost to the day, I drank loads. I was down because I was obsessed with the lies in the world, and I felt so lost because the 3D world just made me so unhappy. Yes, and that's a lot. For that's the story for a lot of people. Is just they couldn't handle the energy. They're so sensitive and so empathic, and they were constantly carrying energy around that wasn't theirs, so it just constantly felt like they had the weight of the world on their shoulders, just never ending weight of the world on their shoulders, and just despair constantly. And so you just drink or do drugs or whatever it is that you do to try to cope with feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Many of us have had to come out of problems with addiction, whether it's to food, alcohol, substances, sex. Some people use sex, you know, to feel better because they just can't handle all the pain of the world, you know? So it's like all of these things are mechanisms that we've used over the years to cope with being hypersensitive, because we just weren't aware that we just have all these innate human abilities that have been suppressed. And now that we're awakening and understanding them and being able to bring them forward, we're noticing how much our bodies are healing, how much our mental health is healing, how much our attitudes about everything is healing. Like, we look at things differently. We don't wake up in the morning and be like, oh God, not another day. That used to be me. I used to wake up in the morning like, I guess I gotta get up now, go drink some coffee, start my day. That was me. Every day. And then I'd lay down, oh, thank God this day is over. Can't wait. And then you wake up in the morning, oh God, another day. that was every day for me, and I'm so glad I don't do that anymore. Like, can you imagine if that was just what you woke up and went to sleep to every night? Like, that's life for a lot of people, and that was my life for a long time. Phew. Got like a heat wave from that. Phew. If they are having conscious awareness, then what should they do? Is seeking help such as hospitalization not good? I mean, if they feel like they need to go to the hospital, then they can go. But if they're really having psychic experiences and they're just out of control, a hospital's not going to help them. That's just, I mean, they're not going to be able to help them because they aren't going to be able to look at it from a spiritual perspective and be like, you're hearing voices because you're clairaudient, not because you're schizophrenic. And we need to help teach you how to use psychic protection and use discernment so that voices that are not friendly are no longer speaking to you inside your head. You can just essentially remove them from your thoughts. You can remove the thought forms from your mind because you will learn that they aren't your thoughts and they aren't there to harm you and that they aren't even something that exists unless you allow it to. You can literally just be like, I don't want to listen to you, go away. And if you truly believe that, it will. It is always going to be your own doubt in your own self that is going to allow something to continue to keep nagging at you. And really, that's just a blessing in disguise because it's teaching you to be stronger, 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 stronger until you finally defeat that shadow. Then nothing can hurt you anymore. That's why it's so powerful. Me too, John. I drink 15 beers a night, almost 3.5 years without. Good job, Faery! Yay! Congratulations. And congratulations to everybody, John Binney, all of you that have had problems with drugs, alcohol, any kind of addiction that has overcome that. I mean, and this goes for, you know, food addiction, sex addiction, sugar addiction, salt addiction, any kind of addiction that has consumed you in some way and created an imbalance, an unhealthy imbalance in your life, okay? So, all of you that have overcome these. Like, that's not an easy thing. It's not. For anybody. And just be proud of yourself. Like, give yourself a freaking pat on the back, man. Like, that's impressive. Be proud of yourself because overcoming our desires, our lowest vibrational wants, needs, desires, that's really powerful to transcend that. So powerful. Faery, Sarah, and all, thanks for your help with my 11-year son's nightmares. Been a really rough week for the last 2 nights. He has stayed in bed even though he is scared. He is now more brave. Beautiful. That's good to hear. I'm glad he is getting better. Nightmares are not easy. They really aren't. I used to have a lot of nightmares. A lot. Not so many anymore. When I was pregnant, it's like every time I would get pregnant, I would just have nightmares throughout the entire pregnancy. It was horrible. Bravery, wow, I was hooked on Scottish whiskey. Tastes so good. Numbed me so bad. Yeah. I know that Scotch. That was my weakness too, John Binney. Tastes so good. Numbs so bad. You know, I would get migraines really bad anytime I'd have any kind of alcohol, so I just really had to stop. I have solar consciousness bridging all I want to manifest, and it happens as long as I have an open heart and my intentions are positive. Always have the best of intentions, and everything will work out for you. Like, honestly, that's the key to manifestations. If your intentions are pure and right and true, you can bring anything into your reality. You just always have to have the best of intentions. If your intentions have like something negative attached to them, something attached to it, that's going to create a resistance because that's got ego attached to it. So always having the purest of intentions, manifesting from the heart, that's the way to do it. You got it, Logos. I was at the Uptown Growl Lab. Interesting. Emoji King! I don't know if I said hi to you yet. Apple for teacher! Proof that we are warrior sisters, indeed. And Beth herself has overcome like some serious stuff. I won't go into it because it's personal, but she is a warrior in her own right. Like, you guys have no idea what this girl has been through. Like, you guys have no idea. If you want to see some power, you want to see a powerful being overcome like pits of hell, that's Beth right there. You do look so different. I do, John Vaney. I agree. I feel like I really like almost got like a glow now to my skin that just wasn't there before. It just wasn't. Thanks everyone for the positive vibes. Thank you, Logos Hunter. I don't know if that means you're taking off, but we are going to start cutting it short soon. 1:06:06 on my clock. I have been trying to keep these live streams a little bit shorter. Hospitals will make it worse. It's loud in there, indeed. Strawberry Time knows. She's somebody who fights with a lot of these abilities, really powerful abilities. And Strawberry Time, I'm so proud of you, girl, man. Like, props to you because you've really come so far. You've come a long ways, and I'm so proud of you. You've shown me how you can take a lot of like psychic experiences and overcome them. Like, you're powerful, and I hope you know that. It was the last truck the Cabal had over me. I have healed my lineage. Beautiful. That's awesome. I love that. Was addiction. Yeah. For a lot of people. I'm proud of you, Logos. That's not an easy thing to overcome. Like, not at all. And I have, like, all these chills running up and down my body, so that's amazing. Yesterday in meditation, I saw a beautiful rose blossom on the tree of life and give birth to thousands of light workers who rain down on earth to raise love vibes. Yay, we got this. Us. Oh, it's us. That's amazing. They will only judge. Yes. Beautiful Logos. My kids are scared of the planet's old rulers, and now they accept it's the other way around. Our superpowers are changing this world for the better, indeed. What Claire's are misdiagnosed as bipolar. Clairsentience. So it's like Claire empathy, Clairsentience. So your emotions are so much your driving force, your innate driving force, if this is your prominent Claire. And so if you are in a room with somebody who is angry or sad and you're happy, and then you go into the room with them, you will pick up their angry or sadness and all of a sudden start feeling angry or sad. So you can swing from your energy to their energy, from your energy to their energy, and literally feel like a crazy person, bipolar, because you're swinging from happy to sad, and you're like, what is going on? That would be clairsentience, and that could definitely manifest as a bipolar disorder. And pulling up energy, basically sucking in energy that isn't yours because you don't have a strong auric field, because you haven't been working with your energy or conscious of your own energy, then you're going to be carrying around a lot of energy that just isn't yours. And this is going to create mood swings, which is going to make you express a mental instability of bipolarism. Oh, where'd it go? Yes, congrats on the sobriety, everybody, indeed. Bravery, congratulations on your 3.5 years. 3 for John Vinny, never felt better. Younger, happier, stronger, higher vibe. Beautiful. Beth, oh, where'd it go? Congratulations, Beth. Your power resonates like massive waves of raging love. That's beautiful. When I was 16, low vibe, before I knew what I know now, I was seeing things that even when I closed my eyes, I could see them. I saw shadows, bleeding, screaming faces, gnarled body-like stuff, evil abstracts. It was weird. This is actually very, very common. Hate to say it, Nova, to see weird, distorted, scary, gruesome things, especially if you are a seer, if you have powerful clairvoyance abilities. If this is something that is a more predominant one of your abilities, and you, my dear one, are incredibly artistic. I have seen your art, and it radiates energy like off from it. Like I can look at it and literally parts of my body will start vibrating looking at your art. So that just goes to show that you have abilities that you don't even realize. Like when you make art, you're actually encoding your art with your energy, and I can feel it when I look at it. And I think that your sight, your clair sight, even though you say you're not seeing it now because you were seeing it more then, your clair sight has actually helped with this creativity, because you can essentially like look at a wall with texturing on it. You could probably look at that texturing on the wall and create a whole picture in that texturing. People with that kind of a mind are very artistic, tend to be very clairvoyant, and will sometimes see things, especially at young ages, or during times where you have like spontaneous Kundalini awakenings, which is usually around 15 or 16 years of age. And then usually when you're very young, right around your toddler ages, you'll have like where you're very open and able to see like spirits, fairies, entities, stuff like that. And then right around 14, 15, 16, a lot of, I don't know if this is the same for males, but I know a lot of females go through spontaneous Kundalini awakening right around that age. I know I did. I know I have a couple clients that are around 15, 16 years old that have just started going through their first spontaneous Kundalini awakening. I know that a lot of people that I talk to now that are my age had one when they were 15, 16 years old. So if you are in the chat and you had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening around 14, 15, 16 years old, please drop a purple heart in the chat. I'd like to see how many of you guys also experienced that. Props to us all. We are powerful and we are love. Indeed. Just passing through, Emoji King. Well, thank you for being here. Drinks called booze. Drinking pure liquid fear. It's legal, so it must be bad. Fuck the bent government. Give me weed any day. Yeah. I could definitely see where you're, yeah. It's kind of funny that you call it booze, like ghosts, like ghosts. Spirits also, because they call it spirits. It definitely lowers your ability to put any kind of psychic shielding around your body. So if you're drinking alcohol and you're working with any kind of spiritual energy, you are going to be a lot more open to kind of negative attachments of your own self, or energies that are not yours. Faery, we received our package today, and I want to tell everyone that your healing balm that you made, and I actually had to work in his heels today, and I used it. Oh my god, miraculous. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm glad you guys got it a day early. That's amazing. Yeah, I made some for myself too. Like I made one for Morgan too, because she suffers from a lot of pain. So, it's not something I can sell you guys, sorry, but I made her a beautiful healing balm. It has CBD in it, so I can't sell it in my shop. But, I made it personally for her son, who was having some pain issues and some physical problems, to help with his healing. Rain down on me. Are you singing for me, Emoji King? I was addicted to Oxycontin, then methadone. Took a long time to heal. The drinking was after the pills got taken away. And then you had to overcome the drinking. That's very powerful, bravery, that you were able to go that low and come back up. Like, those... Oxycontin is intense. Like, that's no joke. That is no joke. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for overcoming that, bravery. 3.5 years sober. Nova, that's so tough for you. Congratulations for conquering. Yes, indeed, Nova. And if you ever want to talk to me about anything you're experiencing psychically, anything like that, please reach out to me. I mean, you know how to get a hold of me on Instagram. Don't be scared. Look at us. So awesome we are now. We are indeed Nova. I like the weed. It grows like weeds and it's more lucrative. Booze and drugs never did anything for me. Indeed, Emoji King. Some people never really got into any of that stuff, and that's fine. Be grateful because it's not easy to go overcome at all. But I heard you have some beautiful, beautiful flowers. Professor Chrome, you're here. What's up? We had you featured on our last live stream. Some of your tunes. And you weren't here. I was kind of hoping you would pop in. If you guys don't know yet, Professor Chrome has a SoundCloud, and it's the same as his YouTube name, prof.chrome, Krome, Chrome. And he's got some awesome stuff on his SoundCloud. If you were part of the live chat last week, I was playing some of it. It was like the more hip-hop rap stuff that was coming through. He's a conscious rapper, and he has really awesome shit. So you should check him out. Emoji King, I used to love it too, but it's not legal here. Oh, it's not legal in Scotland? Man, it's legal all over around here. It's on like every street corner. In moderation, of course, indeed. Everything in moderation. Honestly, everything good can become something bad if you do it too much. That's just what it comes down to. Everything in moderation. I see pictures on blank walls. Beautiful, bravery. We need to work on your scrying abilities. You gonna book a session with me soon? I know you work a lot, but you should. Like, do you work weekends? I have Sundays open. We haven't had a session in a while. We should do one again soon. We can work on your scrying abilities. I made a back scratcher from a weed branch. I thought that was pretty crafty. I bet it worked pretty good too. You did that yesterday too, bravery. Great minds think alike, eh? Age 16, my mom gave me Reiki, and I had visions of all the souls in the world, the source of light and love, and then Camelite source in the stone. Interesting. That's so interesting. So your mom gave you a Reiki healing when you were 16, and that like triggered a Kundalini awakening? Oh, you had on acid at 19. Oh yeah, acid'll pop you wide open. You want a quick way to get to the DMT drip. I've actually never done LSD or acid, but I've done the psilocybin. Microdosing for migraines was one of probably the most effective medications I've ever used for migraines and pain. Was microdosing the psilocybin, magic mushrooms. Marty had her spontaneous awakening when she was 44. Do you remember ever having one as a teenage girl, though? I definitely had another one. How old was I when I had my daughter? Right after I had my daughter. Is what triggered my awakening. Rowan. So I had a natural birth, no pain medication, nothing. And I think that's actually what triggered my last Kundalini awakening. Going through that experience, completely unmedicated, completely aware, feeling everything. That triggered something deep spiritual inside me that I didn't experience with my first two. Kundalini hit you at 17. I had an inner body experience. IBE, seeing inside myself anatomically. See my heart pumping, lungs breathing, cool stuff. That's insane. That's so cool. That's so amazing. Thank you for sharing that. That's a really cool story. I've never heard that inner body experience. I mean, I've heard of people using psychic abilities to like look inside bodies to like see like organs were sick and stuff like that. But an inner body experience sounds amazing. My awakening 3 years ago was in a Kundalini yoga session. Excuse me, guys. Whew. That was so unladylike. More intense than acid or Reiki for you. That's insane. Yeah, sometimes when I do some of my just yoga stretches where it really opens and hits that Kundalini energy, it'll start sending these vibrations up and down my legs, and I literally feel like I'm going to lift off the ground. It's insane. Does anybody else experience that, where they literally feel like their feet are going to lift off the ground? They start vibrating so much. It's insane. Emoji, so beautiful. I have seen inside too, and inside the tree of life, so beautiful. Whole new universe. See ya, awesome people. Bye bye. Bye, Nova. Thank you for being here. Pretty sure it's like super late over, because I think you're over on the East Coast, over on your side. I'll have a small cup of sake if I feel a stress migraine come on. I ponder about how far I've come. I'm like a pro for manifesting a migraine. You know what's really funny? Strawberry time, I used to do the same thing. I'd be like, oh my god, I haven't had a migraine that day. And I'll be like, oh, I told you. I hate it when I do that. It drives me crazy. Oh, I love sake too. Rice wine. Everything gives me migraines, so I can't drink wine, can't drink champagne, can't drink scotch. I can do a little bit of like IPA beers. I've never gotten migraines from those. That's like the only alcohol I think I can drink that doesn't give me a migraine. It's like an IPA. But yeah, just about everything else. Like I'll just even have just a few sips of it and I'll get that migraine. It's terrible. Am I buffering? I think I'm buffering. Alright, so that must be my sign that it's about time to go. Do you guys have any questions you want to throw in the chat before I call it? I'm coming up on about an hour and a half, and I was going to cut it at about an hour and a half. Throw any questions or comments, anything you want to share in the chat now, before we start wrapping it up. You're drinking grape juice? I love grape juice. Emoji King. Okay. Oh, strawberry time. Interesting. I guess you guys don't have any questions for me. If you do, go ahead and hit me up on Instagram. And I will see you all. Oh, you're allergic to sake. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe it's the rice you're allergic to, or just the fermentation process. Can drink about a half a beer if I force myself, but I won't feel so bad now. Feel so much better without it, yes. watched the movie Fantastic Voyage from Raquel Welch. Faery, as people start to awake, what signs should we look for and how do we help? So one of the things people really look for when they start to awake is understanding what's happening to them physically with their bodies. So seeing things, hearing things, feeling things, sensing things freaks people out. And this is one of the things that happens when they start going through a spiritual awakening. The whole conscious understanding, knowing, doesn't fully happen until after some of the physical symptoms really start manifesting. It's almost like the physical symptoms are what kind of start really kind of moving and triggering that awakening and blasting it open. Because you can take the understanding of those. So say you start having physical symptoms and somebody who's already been through them is like, look, everything you're going through is totally normal. This is what's happening to you and this is why. And then start teaching them why their body's going through certain things, how to tune into their body to give them information, teaching them how to work with their triggers and with their energy and then with their mind. And the next thing you know, they're going to start having a higher conscious, a higher perception, and their life's going to start changing. And they might come to you for help. And I don't really know exactly what that's going to be, but it's usually almost always the first things is going to be the physical symptoms. The physical body expressions of the suppression of the innate psychic abilities that are trying to come forward. I hope that answered your question. Good. Yes. You're good. Beautiful. Okay. I love you all. And I will see you all next Friday. And if you have any more questions, just hit me up on Instagram. I probably won't get to them tonight, but I will get to them tomorrow. I love you all so much. And thank you everyone for being here. Till next